the day. I'm back in my studio, and I want to remind you, students of mine who started this session of classes might remember we did a mixed media warm-up. And that was an exercise for not being afraid of a blank canvas or paper. And there was a list of things that we had to add into each of our pieces of paper. We all started out with I think they were like 5x7 pieces of paper that we had to add in all these little elements, scraps of handmade paper, a cardboard piece, a piece of red mesh, a rectangle shape. Each of the elements described here or listed here had to be added into each of the 4 or 5 pieces of paper that we had laying in front of us. So we all did that, and it was really a pretty fun project. We had to add in printed paper, red mesh, corrugated. I have fabric here. I have black line here, and those were all elements that we had to add into the pieces. So all of that being said, when the pieces are done, and they're just on watercolor paper, but they're finished off and they're pretty cool little pieces. So what you can do with them after that is put them inside of a mat. And I have several of them. I did a couple of them in a white mat, and that worked out really well. And then I have, I think I have 5 of these that are all I did in a black mat board. And I'll give you, I'll at the end of the video, I'll give you the resource for where I get of course I get them on Amazon, but I get the mat board, the mat, the backing, and the plastic sleeve that it goes in when you're all done. So these are really fantastic to have when you're doing art fairs as gifts. Sometimes I give them as a gift when somebody buys one of my larger paintings. It's really nice to give them one of these as a gift with purchase, as a thank you. So once I have my little paintings ready to go, I'm going to mat one for you and show you how easy it is and how worthwhile it is. You get about 25, a set of 25, I think, and it's only like $25. And in the set from Amazon, you get the mat, the backing board, and the plastic sleeve all in one shot. So it's well worth the money. And it makes your art look fantastic. I mean, a little piece of paper and you put a frame around it, and it's like, wow, it's a masterpiece. I know it is. So okay, so here's how I'm going to do this. And I've got my backing with the black side out, and I've got my little painting, and you kind of have to move it around and see what you like best. Got it where I want it. So now I'm going to hold this down, move my mat, still holding this down, and take a pencil, mark my side, and mark my top. Then I'm going to flip this over, and I have Scotch tape, the 2-sided Scotch tape, and I'm going to put a piece at the top, piece at the bottom, and I'm just going to come back over here and line this up right where I had it. And there you go. Got that. Now let's double check it and make sure it's okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. So now that I've got that, I'm going to take this. I have this linen hinging tape, which I really love. Although sometimes the little box that it comes in is kind of crazy. It's always falling apart on me. But the nice thing is it's tape that has a backing, and in this little box, it automatically separates the backing, which is really pretty nice. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to open it up, hinge it open, and I'm going to make sure that they're even. I'm going to take my scissors, cut my tape, and this tape is so beautiful to work with. It just is really nice. You just lay that down right there in the hinge, so now you know you've got it put together. Looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take the double-sided tape again, put a piece on each side, and a length in each of the corners. No sense to go all the way around with the whole piece of tape. That's just kind of wasteful. But if you get this taped and you line it up, and then you just give it a nice little press, and there you go. It's done. Okay. There are two different kinds of sleeves, and hopefully you can see the difference here. This sleeve has the tape at the top of the flap. This sleeve has the tape along the opening, but not on the flap. So you can see it's on the opening, but not on the flap. And why that's so important is, when you do these, you're going to end up taking pieces in and out for whatever reason. You might want to photograph it. It doesn't photograph well in the sleeve, so you need to take it out. Well, once this tape is taken off and this is sticky, it makes it really hard to put your artwork in and out, because this is always catching on it. So make sure that you get them that has the tape, the adhesive, on the body of the sleeve. I hope that makes sense. I hope you're able to follow that. Slide that in, take the tape off, and fold it over. It's easy as that. And you've got a great little piece of art ready for an art show, or for whatever you're using it for. So that's one way to do it. Another way that I do it is, sometimes I don't have mats for everything I need. These were little 6x6s, and I didn't have mats, and I wanted to get this done today. So what I did is, I had extra backing boards from mats that I've used in the past. And what I did is, I took these little guys and just adhered them to the mat, the backing board. And I left a border around about the same on the top and the sides. And I got these little pieces. So these are really fun. I have space down here if I want to add something else. It could be, I might want to add, words, a verse, or nothing. It can be left just like it is. So let me show you how I do those, because the tricky thing is, you want to make sure you've got to glue this down, but you don't want to get glue on your mat board. So let me show you how I do that. I pull out a piece of wax paper, and I am using clear tar gel, because that's just what I have on my work table, and I know it works. I don't want to put too much down, and that's Golden's tar gel, by the way. I don't want to put too much down. I just want to have enough that it's going to hold this piece of 40-pound weight watercolor paper down. Now, I am not painting all the way to the very edge, because I want to make sure that what I paint close to that edge is really a thin layer, because I don't want glue squishing out onto my black board. So, okay, I've got that. Now let me get rid of that piece of wax paper. Then I'm going to take this board, and let's see, which way is this going? This guy's going this way, and I am eyeballing it, which is not always the great thing to do, but I don't want to put any marks on this, the backing board. So that looks pretty good, and it'll let the tar gel lets me adhere it down. Then I take another piece of wax paper, lay it over it, and I just smooth it down. give it a nice little rub, smooth it down, leave your wax paper there. Take a stack of books and just put the stack of books on. And let that sit for a couple hours, and when you come back, all of these, it'll be glued down, and they glue really nicely. So again, I probably will sign my name on this portion of the board, the backing board. And then the backing board, we already know, is the same size as the sleeves. And probably I have extra backing board because I got the mats dirty, so I can't use them. And there you go. So you've got a whole bunch of really great little pieces that are ready for a show. And so there you go. Hope that you will do this. I mean, it's a great way to show your art. And it just feels really good to have pieces that are finished off. So give it a shot, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.